Well, a day after the grand old bargain, the same old song and dance. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and so much for extending a hand to the other side, because today the president ventured to Capitol Hill, but only found time to meet with his side, only Democrats, not Republicans, which makes me wonder whether the president was offering an olive branch or just a stick of the eye, because Republicans are now thinking they might have just gotten the shorter end of that stick, and that the president's dramatic offer to cut corporate taxes got good press yesterday, but no follow-up in the press today. In fact, that very same press, the one putting the onus on Republicans, saying that the ball was in their court. But last time I checked, there is no ball in any court, because the president's loved an idea, good idea to many, and Republicans have no idea what taxes he's really talking about in this grand bargain and why small businesses aren't included in this bargain. So let me tell you what could really be going on here. No grand compromise, just politics as usual. And time's a wasting. All these guys are days away from taking essentially the entire month of August off. So you would think that they would be busting hump on some grand bargain right now, but that the president would press this urgency by meeting with both party leaders now. But no, only his party leaders now. And here I thought we were onto something grand, more like the same old games. We go to Rich Edson first on how this is all playing out on Capitol Hill. Rich.
Hey, good evening, Neil. And when you listen to Democrats, it was very much a readout from these meetings with House Democrats and Senate Democrats. It was almost like he had delivered the same speech that he had been delivering over the last couple of days, pressing many of the same points the president has been pressing in the public: the need to grow the middle class, as the White House's line goes, along with other job creation measures. Democrats saying they stand united behind the president. But as you mentioned, there were no meetings with Republicans on the Hill today. Democrats say, look, he is the leader of our party. We are going into a very vital political season in August. We have to win these political fights so we can come back and win the fiscal fights, with government spending authority expiring at the end of September, and of course that debt ceiling fight that will happen sometime in August or November. When you talk to Republicans, they say they're not all that upset that they didn't meet with the president today. They say this is just a longer theme, that when you talk to a number of senior House Republicans, they say that relations between House Republicans and the White House have never really been chillier, maybe at certain times, but there's certainly not much conversation going on. President Obama, however, according to sources within the White House and here in the Senate, say that they are meeting on sometimes a one-to-one basis. There was that large dinner group that happened a few months ago, and the president does continue conversations with individual senators, though a number of Republican aides said that they really aren't making much headway on anything that would resemble a grand bargain. Back to you.
Not encouraging, Richard, but thank you very much. Rich Edson. Now to Hadley Heath from Independent Women's Forum on why these optics, to her at least, look bad, very bad. Hadley, what do you think?
It seems like campaign season has just started early. The Democratic Party, along with their leader, President Obama, want to create the perception that they are willing to bargain, that they are willing to compromise, they're willing to come to the center. But if you look at the details of the president's proposal, insofar as there are details, it's a very vague proposal. It doesn't look like there's a lot of sweeteners in there for people who believe in limited government. All right.
Normally, and I could see Rich's point, you know, you meet with the Democratic leadership and just the key power brokers there to sort of get them all on the same page. But a day after a grand old bargain where you offer something that, at least in the White House's eyes, was game-changing, and not to include Republicans in the game the next day, I don't think that looks good.
No, it's time for the Democrats, at least in their point of view, and I'm sure Republicans on the other side of the aisle are doing the same thing, getting their talking points in order for August recess, and very importantly for Democrats, trying to change the subject and pivot away from Obamacare, which has been in the news lately for a lot of reasons, clearly becoming a more noticeable failure among the American people who are more opposed to the president's health reform than ever. So now he wants to talk about the economy and jobs, which he's not doing a very good job of owning either.
You know, the one thing that was lost in the sauce here, too, but when you talk about lowering taxes for everybody in the corporate world, you know, for manufacturers down to 25%, for other big businesses maybe 28%, small business guys were left out of all that fun. I mean, a lot of them pay at the top private rate of close to 40%. Surely that's sticking in some Republicans' craw.
Oh, you know, the president has talked for a long time about reducing our corporate rate. We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world in the United States, and that puts our companies at a competitive disadvantage. So I've been asking for a long time, if the president and congressional Republicans believe in lowering the corporate tax rate, why haven't we done it yet? And the devil, again, is in the details. The president wants to lower the rate, he says, but he also wants to change some technicalities about how corporations state their income, which could result in higher taxation for many U.S. corporations than their effective rates today. today, meaning more money coming into the government coffers for him to use on infrastructure, biofuels, and electric cars, which he says are his priorities.
Well, this could have been the day to follow up on that. Didn't happen. Thank you, as always, Hadley Heath. Now to a former speaker who's